Hey guys, it's Vanity Ezel, back in the Carpe Vanguard, Ezel and Vanity weekly videos because enjoy don't like, comment, subscribe, and story. So this time we have cards ending off officially DG set 8 because, we always have that one straggler card right after the set ends. And then we have a bunch of promos, and we also have some look at some Festival Collection cards. Let's see what we got. First today we have Cutler Stabber, so great turns to 5k shield, 10k base. It's the technical final card of DG set 8. All done put on guard circle from hand, CB1, call trigger unit that isn't an over trigger from the drops in the guard circle. Not a bad skill, but also, like I said with the other ones, it's pretty much pack fill, and if you choose to run it, it's a 2 of. Moving on to our more important cards is our promo cards. First up is Knight of Straight Shot Ilted. Grade 3 to 9% 13k base, continues rear guard circle. If your Vanguard is either a grade 3 or greater that has Bastion or Alden in the card name, it gets boost. So 13k booster for both grade 3s is solid. Then auto back or rear guard once per turn. When either your other unit is placed on rear guard circle during the battle phase, or a unit in the same column as it stands, if your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater Bastion, you may also stand this unit, and if you stood this unit at the end of the turn, put it to soul. Pretty solid because both Bastion and Alden can use soul, and both of them either superior call or stand units, so being able to not have to call over Ilted is solid because it means you still get a 13k booster out of it. Finally, auto input on guard circle. Choose a grade 3 card, either Bastion or Alden, and its card name from your ride deck, and you may reveal it. And if you either revealed or your Vanguard is currently a grade 3 or greater with either of the two card names, this unit gets 5,000 shield for the battle. Again, solid because it allows it to be defensive for both Bastion and Alden, and I really love how Bastion and Alden, the two grade 3s that have like the most lore synergy between each other, are now sharing a grade 3, considering, like their entire thing was Alden supported Bastion and then became his own main grade 3. I think it's really cool that this card works for both of them, and it does a decent job at it. Is more of a staple or more likely to be seen in Bastion than it is Alden, but I think it still works in both decks really well to warrant a 2 of or 3 of. Next up we have Show or Shower Turn Up. Grade 1 boost 5k shield, 8k base, act drop zone or rear guard circle. If a Noblesse token is on your rear guard circle, Soul Boss 1, choose one of your Noblesse Rose tokens and perform on the following. Put this card as a face of plan engage for that unit. If your card with the same card name as that card was, as this unit was not put on the bottom of your deck this turn, put the top 3 cards of your deck face up as plank gauges for that unit and put this card to bottom of deck. So either you get to bot deck this card and get 3 gauges, or you just turn itself into a gauge. Second skill is continuous plank gauge. The Noblesse Rose token that this has this card as a plank gauge cannot be affected by your opponent's cards, so your opponent can only call stuff over it via something like Chaos from Premium that had the ability to call stuff from hand is locked. And then auto, when this card is a plank gauge, bind this card to the effect is mandatory, so you can't just loop its skill continuously. All around, not a bad grade 1. It does get you more plank gauges for your Noblesse Rose tokens, increasing its power, prevents it from being targeted, and it bounces off out with your own skill. The only downside is it belongs to Granfia deck, which Granfia gets shafted so much by Bushy at this point, it's going to take more than one card to fix its problems, so 2 over 3 of. Then we have Fortune Garden View. Grade 2 NSF 5k shield, tank 8k base, and auto either at the end of your battle that this unit attacked during your turn, or when it was discarded from your hand during your turn. If your Vanguard is a Hazerite, you may put this card into your soul. So cool, free soul charge. Then act drop zone. If your Vanguard's a grade 3 greater Hazerite and you have not have a copy of this on your board, it's counter boss 1 to call this card to rear guard circle, and it gets 5,000 power for the turn, so it's a 13k base. And if your opponent's Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater, you can attack from back row. Cool, so you have an extra back row attack for Hazerite. I believe Hazerite could always get 4 or 5 attacks in a turn, so I think this either ups it to 5 or 6 respectively. All around, a solid grade 2, but it does into the CB, and while yes, I haven't played Hazer in a while, I feel like that might be a problem for it, but I also loosely remember them having a counter charger, so 2 over 3 for Hazeret. Next up we have Ghostly Demon Lady Florist. Grade 2 instead 5k shield, 10k base. Auto when discarded from your hand during your turn, you may put this card to soul. And that's that it can be discarded by any means, so just cost for abilities, an actual ability, or just simply ride deck, it's for free soul charge. And then auto rear guard once per turn. When this unit attacks into a Vanguard, choose up to 1 card from your drop zone, put it to your soul. If your opponent's Vanguard is a grade 3 great at 5,000 power for the turn. Cool, 15k swing, get you a free drop zone card to soul. Not a bad grade 2 to have, so it's a solid 2 over 3 of depending on your Dark State deck. Then we have our new Galactic Base Aegis. Apparently they just chose to take off 2 letters and swap the E with an A for Aegis. Grade 1 set order base. After set orders play, put it to your order zone, so B heroes now have a new base. For some reason they couldn't introduce in the last set that they were getting support in, but whatever. 2 skills. First one being act order zone once per turn. By resting this card, you can choose a card with B hero and its card name from your drop zone that is not sharing the same name with the card that's in your order zone and scout it to your base. So cool, it basically allows you to have multiple different B heroes in your order zone. And then act order zone. If you have 4 more bases in the order zone, put the standing card into your soul to choose up to 1 grade 2 Norman with B hero on its card name from your drop zone, bounce it to hand, and then choose one of your Vanguards with B hero on the card name, and it reduces the next time you pay its CB cost by 1 to the end of the turn. That's not a bad ability. I just feel like it could have been better. I don't think B heroes need that recycling, or even if it's a good ability, don't get me wrong, it is a good ability, it does not need to go to soul. We have been over this, Bushy. B heroes have enough soul. Stop giving us damn soul chargers. It's if it wasn't for that, like, it's not a bad card, don't get me wrong. I just feel like this card had so much potential and they kind of wasted it, but it's a solid like 2 of, not more than a 3 of, because it does allow you to have more bases for B heroes. Next up, we have Boundary of Twilight. So Orphis could have gotten support this set, but apparently they chose not to. So Boundary of Twilight's a grade 1 set order, and it's a world. After set orders play, put it into your order zone. Auto when it's put into your order zone by choosing a grade 3 card with Orphis in the card from your riot deck, you may reveal it. If you revealed or your Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater with Orphis in the card name already, you get to draw a card. So cool, replaces itself immediately, which allows you to get extra hand cards, which is actually really good for Orphis. And then continues order zone. If your order zone has only world cards, the following effects are active according to the number of cards in your order zone. You have 1 card, your world becomes Dark Knight. You have 2 or more cards, your world becomes Abyssal Dark Knight. And act order zone. If your Vanguard's a grade 3 or greater Orphis with the card name, and this card was not put into your order zone this turn, by soul blasting 1 and resting it, you can call a Shadow Army token to the rearguard circle, and this card's name becomes Casting Shadows in the Dark Knight till end of turn. The reason why I changed this name is because there are cards such as Polar Axis Dragon who activate abilities based off the different cards of your order zone, so not a bad card to have there, and it gets your token all for 1 soul blast, and it allows you to draw just by putting into the order zone, so it's not a bad grade 1 on order at all, and I think it's actually very solid for Orphis, making it a valid 3 of. The only reason I would want to put it 4 is because, again, different card names. Following that, we have Fierce Flame Dragon Almadeus, grade 3 Genetic Persona, 13k base, continues rear guard to guard circle, it gets intercept and 5k shield. That's just a good ability inherently, why the hell not? And then auto rear guard once per turn. When this unit attacks, if your Vanguard's grade is a grade 3 or greater, energy blast 3, choose an opponent's rear guard, kill it, and this unit gets 5,000 power for the battle. Then if your damage on those 4 or more cards in your persona roll this turn, it gets another 5,000 to end of battle for each grade of that unit retired by the effect. So it gets a free 5k inherently, guaranteed, so it's an 18k. But if you have all the other conditions required, and then say, for example, you killed a grade 2 unit, it gets an additional plus 10k, so it's overall well, technically you have to persona roll that turn, so it'd be 18, 28, 38 overall. Not a bad grade 3 at all, kills rear guards, has intercept, has a 5k shield on top of it for whatever random reason. Honestly, very solid, not even a promo grade 3. This card's actually in the festival collection, so you know, solid like 3 of generically, or 4 depending on your deck. Then we have our ace unit in Funeral Procession of the Fallen Valak, who made me do several double takes, because A, something that is visibly printed on the card, and B, Funeral Procession. I immediately assumed this was a Leonorn card, but then I remembered this was the Dark States one. So grade 2 intercept, no 5k shield, 10k base. That is also the case for the other ace units, so I'm not so sure if that's a misprint or if the ace units are not supposed to have shield, which that makes me question why they have intercept in the first place, but I digress. Ace unit, you may only have 1 ace unit in your deck. Unique skill, auto, and place on rear guard circle other than during the battle phase. It gets 5,000 power for the turn, so just free 5k by placing it. Then by energy blasting 3, you can check the top 7 and choose up to 1 card from among them, put it to your soul, and shuffle your deck. Then choose up to 1 card from your soul with a great list equal to your Vanguard called to rear guard circle. You may only use a unique skill total of once per fight among all your cards. Basically, even though the Energy Blast 3, you can choose not to use it, even if you just use the 5k skill, you can't use the rest of the ability for the rest of the game. So just keep that in mind when you're using that ability, even if you're not going to use the Energy Blast skill. As for the second part, auto rear guard when attacks on anything, if your opponent's Vanguards are grade 3 or greater, it gets 5,000 power for that battle. And if you either soul blast 5 or more cards this turn, or you soul blast a total of 3 or more cards this turn, then this unit gets additional 5,000 power for the battle. So basically, either your soul has to have 5 cards, or you have to soul blast it 3 or more times. Either way, this is Dark States. You're guaranteed to hit 1, if not both of those in the same turn. Not a bad grade 2 at all, honestly. It's up 2 of, maybe. Let me be fair, this deck does, like, Dark States in general has a lot of way to soul charge and call stuff out from soul. He himself does that, so, you know, 2 over 3 of. On top of that, we also have reveals for the new Alfred and Soul Saver units. I'm not going to cover Alfred and Soul Saver in this video because we're going to get it next week, and we also don't have the images and we don't have the full confirmed skills, so I'd rather just show off the one that we do have the full confirmed skills for now, which is Knight of the Sky Sky 0, grade 2, intercept 5k shield, 10k base. Continues is also regarded as Knight of Silence Galatine. Auto, if your Vanguard's only clan is Royal Paladin, this cost may be paid by Energy Blasting 3. When placed on rearguard circle, if you do not have a copy of this on your board, counter boss 1 to draw a card, or get Energy Blast 3. And then auto rearguard, when it attacks into a grade 3 greater unit until end of battle, it gets 5,000 power. But if you have 4 Marines on your board, it gets 10k instead, so 20k swing just for playing basically Royal Paladin. And then auto rearguard once per turn, when it attacks on anything, if your Vanguard's only clan is Royal Paladin, and you persona this turn, and this unit was stood by your Vanguard's ability this turn, counter boss 1 until end of battle, your opponent cannot activate their card's auto abilities. Basically, this is a PG nullifier. That ability is really solid because we all know how good those are. Not to mention the fact that it counts your opponent's Vanguard's out ability and their Rear Guard's out ability, pretty much meaning they're going to have to hard guard 0 no matter what, which is great. And again, it's swinging for a 15 to 20k swing, and that ability does not require your opponent to be at grade 3, which means depending on what Alfred does, I have not read Alfred yet, and I please ask my commenters not to spoil it for the people that doesn't know what it does yet, because again, I don't plan on revealing in this video. But if Alfred does not restrict you to restand to being at your opponent at grade 3, that's a pretty good ability, though to be fair, it does require the Persona, so as you will. Either way, very solid 4 by the scenes of it for a Royal Paladin deck.
On to our last support cards of the day. First we have Fixed Time Dragon, Perugia, grade 3 to Persona, 13k base, contains rearguard guard circle, against intercept and 5k shield, and auto rearguard once per turn when this unit attacks into a Vanguard. If your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater, Energy Blast 3, choose any player's rearguard, put it to soul, and it gets 5000 power for the battle. Then if either your damage zone has 4 more cards in it or your Persona road, it also gets auto rearguard when your opponent's unit is put on guard circle. If that unit's grade is equal to that of the card that was put into soul by this unit's original auto ability, that unit loses 5k shield for the battle until end of battle. Okay, pretty solid. So I'm starting to see that every single nation is going to get one of these triple rares grade 3, which is pretty solid, because that means all these nations are going to get some way of like rear guard removal or at least an 18k swinger out of it. That also involves screwing over your opponent and also being a 5k shield interceptor. Not a bad generic grade 3 for Dark States. I think this actually works for a lot of Dark States decks that want like anything to put to soul, especially because it picks any player's rear guard. Not to mention the fact that it can lower your opponent's shield value, which can end up being the deciding factor. So not a bad grade 3 at all. I think it's actually really good support, and depending on your Dark States decks, it's a 3 over 4-0. Next up, we have Crumbling Destruction Dragon Cursum, grade 3 to Persona 13k base. The Brand K version of that grade 3 can change rearguard guard circle, gets intercept and 5k shield. Auto rearguard once per turn when this unit attacks into a Vanguard. If your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater, Energy Blast 3 to choose one of your opponent's rearguards and bind it, or your opponent picks a rearguard and they bind it. And this unit gets 5000 power for the battle. And then if you either have 4 more damage or your Persona road, until end of battle, this unit gets an extra 5000 power and your opponent cannot play Blitz orders. Cool. I find it weird how Brand gets the deck that just locks people out of Blitz orders, and I say that because there's an entire deck Avant-Garde that does have a card specifically designed to shut out Blitz orders. I do hope that one day we just get a main grade 3 that's supposed to shut out Blitz orders like inherently. I think that'd be fun, even if it'd be a direct hate to Lascaria, but hey, is what is. Still, the locking out Blitz orders is solid, not to mention the fact that that ability can proc before your opponent gets to grade 3 as well, which is good. And again, it gets rid of your opponent's rear guards and forces them to bind something. So not a bad support card, and again, depending on your deck, it's either a 3 or a 4 of. Then we have our Vermeil Exordia. So the grade 2 intercept 5, no shield for some reason, 10k base, the ace unit for Brancate. Unique skill, auto when placed on rearguard circle and during the battle phase, it gets 5000 power for the turn. Then by energy busting 3, check the top 3, choose any card from among them, put it to your hand, shuffle the deck, and if your order has 2 or more of any player's card, check the top 5 instead of top 3. So that is good, because not only does it proc off of just normal orders, or technically set orders, but it procs off of any card in the order zone, so things like B heroes, scouted in bases, or your opponent's prisoned units. Cool. Then auto rearguard when it attacks on anything. If your opponent's Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater, it gets 5000 power for the battle. Then by resting one of your set orders, it gets an extra 5000 power. Okay, not bad. It can get more power the more you rest your orders, but more importantly, that first skill is honestly pretty solid because you don't have to reveal the card that you put to your hand, and that basically gets you a free PG. Not a bad unique skill, though to be fair though, I did expect a little bit more from this one, though again, it's not bad at all, so I'm willing to warrant like the 3 of just to increase your chances of seeing Vermeil. As for our new Vergalia, grade 3 Persona 13k base, Vergalia rewrite form alt knights, great rewrite, act Vanguard, act hand, and if your opponent's Vanguards are grade 3 or greater, bind a rewrite the star of Vergalia on the Vanguard circle to ride this card as stand, and perform all the following at the end of the turn, ride the card bound for the cost as rest. So when placed, search your deck or drop zone for up to 1 Galaxian, call to Vanguard circle, and if you search your deck for up to 1 ultimate skill card, reveal it, put it to hand, and if you search your deck, you shuffle it. So this gets you a free rear guard, and then it gets you a free ultimate skill card, aka your really good order card. Not bad. And then until end of turn, this unit also gets auto Vanguard once per turn. When it attacks into anything, combos 1 stand, all former rear guards. This unit gets a drive for the battle, and all your former units get 5000 power for each card with the same card name as this unit in your soul. So cool, it basically inherently starts giving you Persona rides, it gives you extra multi-attack, and not to mention the fact as well that it gives yourself a triple drive, which doesn't, actually I was about to say, which doesn't require the opponent to be a grade 3 or greater, and then just read the first line. Honestly, not a bad grade 3 at all. I do think that card's actually really good, and I definitely can't wait to try it out for Vergalia, so it seems like Vergalia is getting really good support this set. And that's it for this week, so I hope all of you guys enjoy. Next week we're going to get some support cards for a few decks. I believe I saw Gravidia was one of them, Coty Blaze was one of them, and more importantly, importantly, timestamping was one of them as well. So we'll see what we get next week. But anyway, that's it for this one. Hope all of you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join us for Twitch. I'll see you all next one. Dressing up your vanguards.